So you mentioned having like these posters and showcasing KPIs across the team. What are some of the KPIs that you guys use and that you're a fan of?
I really like the scheduled versus unscheduled work or break-in work. I think that resonates with a lot of the tradespeople as well, because they don't like to operate in a reactive fashion. A mechanic likes to be able to plan out a job. If there's an engine changeout coming, they like to make sure all the parts are there so that it goes smoothly. There's a lot of them that like to do the diagnostics and stuff, but those guys, they get to do that. In mining, we have what's called running repair, which just goes out, and whenever a truck is or a unit is down for whatever reason, they jump on to try and solve the problem. If they can't solve the problem, then they fire it back to, then they bring it down to the shop and
Hmm.
try and solve it that way. So looking at that, mechanics really appreciate when they get to do things planned. They're not under a lot of stress. I think we can all appreciate that. Yeah, so that's one of the main ones I try. The other one I try to talk about too is how much savings. So especially if somebody does something good. At Fluid Life, I had this thing. It was called the Oil Analysis Save of the Month. Whenever we sent out an alert for an oil analysis sample and they took action, I'd do up a poster for them that talked about, okay, this is how much you saved by, you know, you got the coolant out of the engine, you save the remaining life of that engine. Just by you doing that work, you saved the company $200,000. And whenever I can, I'd put names on who took action. Really try and give credit to the people who do it. That way, the next guy might want to get his name up there. And people really enjoyed that. I got a lot of really good responses from that. For lack of a better word, it's you got to put out the propaganda.
Yeah. Or, I think what I'm hearing too is just celebrating other people's success. And again,
Absolutely.
the work often goes unnoticed because something not happening in our industry is a good thing. So being able to celebrate the wins when something doesn't happen, when we don't have a failure, you predict a failure, like that is something to be celebrated. And I think for our industry, we don't see that enough. So it sounds like
Mhm.
that's really resonated with your team and done really well for you.